Hi, John Piper, independent candidate for the United States Senate from Indiana. We're going to add to the video we shot last week on Mike Pence and the letter that was sent to the New York Times. We're also going to add some positive things about human trafficking, the people that we now found out that are actively involved in it, the states that are actively involved in trying to stop it. So there's a lot of good news in that front. But first, let's go over here and let's look at our head swamp rat. Everybody remembers this swamp rat right here, Mike Pence. Everybody now should know what he did last week to Donald Trump. He stabbed the President of the United States in the back. Right here, Vice President on Attorney General Jeff Sessions. I hold Jeff Sessions in the highest regard. I appreciate his service to the nation. Jeff Sessions is not an honorable man. Jeff Sessions raised his hand, gave his word to the President and to people of America that he would do his job as Attorney General of the United States, knowing very well he would never do it. He would never be part of the Russian investigation. And look at the mess that it has caused. Why did Jeff Sessions do it? Because in his heart, Jeff Sessions is part of the deep state. Mike Pence was asked to be vice president, the highest honor a president can give somebody, and that man just stabbed Donald Trump in the back. Frankly, I believe he's been doing it all along. Why? Because Rush Limbaugh is correct. Rush Limbaugh has talked about the swamp right here. Rush Limbaugh said if Donald Trump is removed, i.e. via the Russian investigation or some of that other garbage that's out there, the swamp will be refilled and the status quo will be reestablished. I've been saying it for over a year. Limbaugh has now said it many times in the last few months. Rush Limbaugh is correct. We can't forget all these people are never Trumpers. Everybody in Washington wants Mike Pence put in as president, wants Paul Ryan put in as vice president. Let's remember, why is Mike Pence vice president? Because of the deal Donald Trump struck with Paul Ryan. Give me one of your people, get on the Trump train, let's reunite the Republican Party, and I'll take one of your guys. Donald Trump took Pence because he was best friends for 12 years with Paul Ryan in the Congress. People forget, Pence was a congressman for 12 years. What did Paul Ryan then do? No border wall, half the policies Trump want, NAFTA, all the tariffs. Paul Ryan, no, no, no. Trump is 100% right. Paul Ryan is trying to disrupt the administration, and so is Mike Pence. They want Trump gone. Rush Limbaugh is correct. Let's talk about this right here. Everybody is asking, what actually is a redacted document? Redacted document, these right here were given to the House of Representatives for their investigation from the FBI and from the Justice Department. Most of the important information is all deleted. Mike Pence's name is deleted. Let's remember why exactly all these things are redacted. Everybody in the media is now saying these redactions are protecting the FBI and the people that have been betraying this nation and the Justice Department, protecting them and their criminal acts. But one thing you don't see in these is Mike Pence's name. You're saying, why would Mike Pence's name be there? Very obvious. The FBI is made up of the smartest people in the country, and so is the Justice Department. They had a plan. Their plan was, one, to get rid of Donald Trump. They had to have a second part of that plan. A, get rid of Donald Trump. Part B, put Mike Pence in as president. Constitutionally, Barack Obama can't be president again. Constitutionally, Hillary Clinton lost. What's going to happen if Donald Trump is removed, which is what the swamp wants? Mike Pence, the head swamp rat, becomes your president. Paul Ryan becomes your vice president. When Donald Trump declassifies all these and the redactions are gone, you're going to see Mike Pence's name in all the text from Andrew McCabe, James Comey. You're going to see all the emails that have been redacted. Mike Pence's name is going to be everywhere. He's part of it. Make no mistake about it. Again, I don't think Mike Pence wrote that letter. I think his staff and his supporters did. I believe it's part of a concerted effort to eliminate Donald Trump, and this was just one part of trying to get rid of the President of the United States. Let's go over here for just a minute. We need to talk about the Catholic scandal, the Catholic Church scandal. Before I told you about Cardinal Bernard Law, involved with sending 25 priests parish to parish, raping over 1,000 little boys, molesting 1,000 little boys in the 1970s and 1980s. Well, we just saw in Pennsylvania in the last 3 weeks, a grand jury has now pointed out 300 priests and over 1,000 more little boys raped and molested. It's got to stop. We now know the Pope knew about it. Cardinals and priests and bishops around the globe are demanding that the Pope, for the first time in history, be removed from office. Why? Power corrupts. They all knew about it. Right now, wonderful things are happening in New Jersey, in New York, in Pennsylvania. There are 800 numbers. They're trying to have a call center where you can call in and tell what happened to you. They're also trying to get rid of the statute of limitations, change the law, so no matter how long ago it was, you can call in and tell what happened, so you can hopefully stop somebody from being hurt in the future. That's something wonderful. Indiana, we need to look at that. We need to see what our statute of limitation is, and we need to get rid of it. When it comes to molesters, rapists, human traffickers, there should be no statute of limitations. And we should not allow people like this who worked with the FBI, these two monsters, ordered police on the street not to do their job. Jails are too full. Can't have that. No, we have to find a way to bring people like Mike Pence to justice. So we're going to take a minute now and we're going to discuss the death threats on me, and we're going to talk about the threat on my life where somebody came onto my property and tried to run me over, either to intimidate me or kill me. I did receive a letter, as I mentioned in the video last week, that I hadn't been contacted yet by the Justice Department. But this right here is from Jeff Sessions' office, U.S. Department of Justice. They have acknowledged they are going to start an investigation in 60 days after the election. That's outrageous. Federal law says you can't have a report within 60 days prior to election, but you can most certainly start an investigation. This is a stall tactic by the Justice Department. The evidence is overwhelming into the person who tried to kill me. He's on my property. We have pictures of it. We have eyewitness accounts to it. The individuals that were engaged there, they did over $100,000 in damage and theft to my property. Their equipment was still there. Their staff was still there. The police caught them all. We have to remember what happened. Morgan County Sheriff refused to arrest anybody on that day. Their argument was, Mr. Piper, there's no room in the jails. There's nothing we can do. There's no excuse for not arresting somebody who threatens and intimidates somebody who is running for office or somebody who is in office. We can't forget what happened to Rand Paul. Rand Paul, senator from Kentucky, was in his own front yard mowing his grass, and his neighbor came over, attacked him from behind, broke his rib, punctured his lung. He almost died of pneumonia. Several weeks in the hospital. We can't forget what happened to Arizona Congresswoman Gabby Gifford. 18 people were shot. She was giving a speech, just like this one, in a parking lot of a grocery store. 18 people were shot, 6 were murdered, including a 7-year-old little boy, or 7-year-old little girl, and a federal judge. She was shot in the head and she'll be crippled for life. We can't forget what happened to Steve Scalise. He was doing a charity baseball practice. One of Bernie Sanders' psychos showed up. Just like this psycho who's friends with Mike Pence, who came after me with his car, this guy was a Bernie Sanders psycho, and he shot Steve Scalise and tried to kill all the Republicans. We can't have this. The guy who attacked me believes that Mike Pence is not involved in human trafficking. Believes that Mike Pence says there's no drugs in Indiana, no child prostitution houses. Well, we all know different. We all know it's here. There's no question these things are going on. This individual who attacked me did it because of his political hatred for me. Governor Eric Holcomb, you have a legal obligation to demand Morgan County Sheriff do his duty and arrest that individual, and the prosecutor in Morgan County do his duty. Curtis Hill, you have the same obligation. These people must be brought to justice. If it doesn't happen, can you imagine what every politician is going to going forward is going to have to deal with? People that are in office, people running for office. And as far as the theft and damage to my property, we're a farming state. The lumber they took off, the timber they took off my property, that's a crop, just like corn, just like soybean. If this person is not prosecuted, by the way, we had 10 no trespassing signs to keep him off our property. He had already done things like this in the past. Threatened to have me and my wife arrested for being on our own property. If we don't prosecute this individual and the ones that helped him, every farmer, somebody could steal their combine. Hey, I'm a friend of Mike Pence, I can get away with it. They can go spray Roundup in all their fields. Hey, I'm a friend of Mike Pence, I can get away with it. We can't have it. Justice must be done. We need our elected officials to do their duty. Right here, one final thing on this issue. In Tennessee, Representative Diane Black, somebody has now been indicted for just threatening to kill her. They know what they're doing there. They don't want this person hurt. They don't want other politicians hurt. We can't allow this. We have to stop these monsters. Just because this guy thinks Mike Pence walks on water and he thinks that I'm the devil doesn't make him right, doesn't give him the right to threaten to kill me and try to run me over. We'll change subjects here to something positive. I've been catching a lot of flack from coast to coast. People saying human trafficking isn't real, you're making it up, it's not as bad as you say, these people aren't bringing in the drugs, there's no children going into child prostitution houses. Well, there's a lot of people out there saying you're wrong. Not just myself anymore. We're going to point out a couple of Hollywood actors, people that are doing the Lord's work. Ashton Kutcher, I hope you can see that and get kind of close there. He and his wife, former wife Demi Moore, they've been involved for a long, long time, testifying in front of Congress, trying to do what he can to help stop modern-day slavery. And just recently, we learned about the actor Matthew McConaughey. What a wonderful human being, working with the Attorney General in Texas. Matthew McConaughey is quoted as saying they know of over 300,000 people being trafficked in Texas and 79,000 minors in the sex industry. That's unbelievable. People have to stand up. You look at people like that, they give you inspiration. As rich as they are, as powerful as they are, if they're going to take time out of their lives to help this cause, we can do the same. That is absolutely wonderful. So, I've given a lot of speeches. My wife and I went to South Dakota. We gave speeches in Illinois. We gave speeches in Iowa and South Dakota. This last trip we took, we went to Atlanta, then we went to Florida. While in Atlanta's airport, we saw something wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. I wish they do it here in Indianapolis. This was a whole wall sign. Be alert, human trafficking. They hide in plain sight. Many of you say, well, if it's so bad, how come I haven't seen it? They hide in plain sight. This was put up by Delta Airlines, by the Polaris Project, and hashtag Get On Board. The Atlanta airport put this up. This was a whole wall. Signs for asking for help, avoids eye contact, heavily guarded, physical signs of distress, what to look for, how to spot it, what to do. There are groups out there now just rallying. People are coming out of the woodwork. This is fabulous. The more exposure we get, the more we can stop it and save lives. This was just in the hallway. We saw another sign at Atlanta's airport right down by our gate to get on a plane. They're taking this serious. In the little part of the airport we're in, we saw two huge signs. I want to say thank you, Atlanta. This is wonderful. Indianapolis, Atlanta's not better than us. We can do this too. We'll get into what the state of Indiana is trying to do or not trying to do in just a minute. But I want to stay with something positive here. I want to talk about a couple of American heroes, people that are absolutely doing the Lord's work, doing wonderful things. The NFL's taking a bad rap. They deserve it. The kneeling down, you know how I feel about that. But we have a wonderful guy here, Mike Tomlin, the coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Super Bowl winning coach. He wrote the foreword for this book, Slave Stealers. Timothy Ballard, the author right there. This book describes how he got started, why he got started, what he has already accomplished. Absolutely wonderful. How they're going around the globe trying to save little girls from modern-day slavery. His information says that they have at least 10,000 children per year coming across the southern border for the sex industry. We know why they're coming across. They're being brought across by coyotes. We now know what the coyotes are. I've had a couple of federal agents sit me down and say, these are retired guys, by the way, saying the coyotes are the ones that are being deported 5, 10, 15, 20 times. Why are these individuals being deported so many times? Because they're professionals. They know these children aren't allowed to be stopped. They know these children can't be searched. They can't be arrested. So that drug dealers and drug traffickers and human traffickers know this. They load the little children up. They bring them across the border. They go to Phoenix or they go to Indianapolis. That's right. There's two major cities in America where everything is disseminated across the country. Phoenix and Indianapolis. That's why we're known as the pedophile state. That's why we're known as the crossroads of America for human trafficking, for drug trafficking. The coyotes deliberately bring these kids in. They use a system very similar to what was used in the 1800s, 1840, 50, and 60, where people were freeing slaves from the South using safe houses in the Underground Railroad. The coyotes have their own safe houses. They bring these kids in. That's why they're deported 10, 15, 20 times. They deliberately get arrested. Then they get a free trip back to Mexico. They take off whatever they want. Then they get back on their horse, and they bring more kids in. It's got to stop. Governor Mike Pence knew all about it. The FBI knows all about it. They protect him. Everybody is talking about it. but nobody's doing anything about it. These coyotes have to be stopped. They are the modern day slave traders, and that's what this is all about. I just want to say thank you. It's nice to know that there's other people out there doing far greater things than myself. Mike Tomlin, just wonderful. What is Indiana doing about it? Let's talk about Indiana. As everybody knows, that these videos that you're watching, they're homemade. My wife and I have to make them. Comcast refused to shoot them. They demanded to see the script for the very first one. We sent it to them. They refused. We're not going to do that. We won't air it. We won't do anything. Find somebody else. Comcast never had a problem with taking my money for shooting my commercials for my animal hospital. But when it came to doing something that told the truth about Mike Pence, Comcast wanted nothing to do with it. Just like in Washington, everybody's protecting Mike Pence. Keep him pure. Redact his name. Comcast was doing the same thing here in town. Channel 4, Channel 6, Channel 8, Channel 13, Channel 59. All have me on tape at NDOT meetings, in my lobby, talking about this issue, talking about 69. They won't air a minute of it. Everybody's protecting Mike Pence. So let's talk about fake news. My wife and I shoot our very first video. We come home May 22nd, 2018, and we flip on Channel 8, and we see this at the bottom. Latest, Indiana lawmakers to study human trafficking. May 22nd, 2018. It is now September 9th, the shooting of this video. My friends at the State House said not one thing has been done. Not one child has been saved. Not one human trafficking operation stopped. Not one piece of drugs found. Fake news. They won't do anything about it. They won't. You need to call your lawmakers. Call Mike Braun. Mike Braun, what are you going to do about it? You're going to be a United States Senator. By the way, they're all trying to keep me off the ballot, and they very well may have. But just because I won't be on the ballot doesn't mean I'm not part of the electoral system. I went to Washington, D.C. I filed my paperwork with the Federal Election Commission. Therefore, I am still a candidate. But if I don't get on the ballot, I most certainly will be running for governor in 2020. So make no mistake, I'm not giving up. This issue is not going away. Let's go over here one final time. People say, well, stop complaining, John. What's your solution? Right here. Piper for Senate. What would Abraham Lincoln do? Indiana. Program to stop human trafficking. Hoosiers lead the way with the new emancipation. Together we can stop this modern day slavery. And I list a whole lot of things to do. I took this to Washington, D.C. I showed this to the Republican Party, went to Republican headquarters. They sat me down. As everybody knows, two of their executives, they looked it over, and I said, I will give this to Mike Pence. I will stand in the back. My face never has to be seen. I don't have my name out there. I just want something done, something positive. To this day, the Republicans have done nothing. Mike Braun, you need to call me. I would work with you. This should be on your platform. This can be done. We now know that Florida is actively involved in trying to stop it. We know that Texas is. We know California. We know Arkansas. We know Ohio. Why not Indiana? We're doing nothing because everybody's trying to protect Mike Pence. Let's go back over here for 1 minute. People are saying that drugs in Indiana aren't a problem. Everybody says I don't have enough evidence for Jeff Sessions to get involved. Well, I'm going to show you one final little thing here. This right here. My staff was doing some research and they found this article. Mike Pence takes on drug abuse. See that? The date of that is September 2nd of 2015, Indianapolis Star. Mike Pence was governor for 4 years. Every single year, we have double-digit gains in the number of overdose deaths. We have double-digit gains in teen suicide. Crime is off the charts. Mike Pence did nothing. Fake news. He put a headline in the paper. Fake news. Nothing's been done. I can prove it. The CDC, Center for Disease Control, came out, and what did they say? Last year, 1,840 young adults and kids overdosed and died. Just on opioids. We haven't talked about heroin. We haven't talked about cocaine, methamphetamines. Pence did nothing. There's too much money in it. Too many people making too much money. We can't have that. I don't know if I get in trouble for it. I'm going to plug it anyway, whether Greg Jared wants or not. Everybody should read the book. Everybody should read Greg Jared's book. It's fabulous. The Russian Hoax. That's part one. I can't wait to see part two because more things are coming out, more things are going to happen. Sean Hannity's right. Probably only about 17 to 20% of the truth is out there. The rest of it's going to come. I promise it wouldn't take a long time, so I'll stop right now. I want to thank everybody for watching my videos. I want to thank everybody for paying attention. Spread this around. It's not about me. It's not about Matthew McConaughey. It's not about the Pittsburgh Steelers coach. It's about the little children. The greatest generation did their duty. It is now our time. We have an obligation to do the Lord's work, to make this country greater than it's ever been, and we can. We are making a difference. Thank you for listening. God bless America, and God bless Indiana.